So I'm here this morning, my morning walk with the famous, can I say famous? I think you're famous. Famous, what do you describe yourself as?
I guess TV producer and writer.
Yes, I can say the famous bit because he's very humble. But, Nigel Levy, folks. So my morning chat with Nigel, we were just talking about marketing really and promoting your business. And we got into the conversation of niche, right?
Right, absolutely, yeah.
And Nigel's launching a new product offering, and we're just getting into what is niche, because a lot of advice out there will tell you, you know, start niche. And you'll get the story of people like Facebook that started niche, right? They started in the universities and colleges, first at Harvard and then one by one universities around the world. So you can argue that initially it was built for a niche, for university students and colleges to connect to each other within those ecosystems. But of course it's not niche anymore, which could be one reason why it's not as popular as it used to be. But as financials go, it is very successful. And I think in the early days, when it's being used by students with no money, then no one wants to advertise on their platform because they're students, and not many people that want to necessarily advertise to students, although I can think of quite a few that would. But point being that I think starting out niche is an interesting piece of advice. I'm not sure I agree with it. And that's what Nigel and I are talking about this morning,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So what advice have you seen in the niche? What's your...
Well, I think it's the attitude that, you know, that's where the people who actually want what you've got to offer live. So if you're quite focused on a particular group of people, quite narrowly, they're the ones who actually like what you do very specifically, so will spend money on you. Whereas if you're more general, there are other people doing the same kind of general thing that you are. So, God, that was a tall hill we just walked up. So that's the problem. You know, I teach people about storytelling, but there's two ways to tackle it. You can make it niche and say it's for people whose stories aren't working in an edit when they're making a documentary, which is very niche, but it's actually very accurate about the need that I've seen. Or you could sell it as this is how you tell documentary stories for everyone, or factual stories, or make it really broad. So the question I'm pondering is, who do I aim it at?
Yeah.
And how do I aim it at them? You know?
And I think it's a question a lot of people out there looking to start a business or grow a business must think about. Here's my advice. Recording it for you guys out there, and maybe to share with Nigel, see what you think.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's the wrong question. I don't think it's really about should I be a niche or not. That's to me not framed right. I think the answer is, who do I connect with?
Yeah.
Who will find what I know useful and offer it to those group of people, and at the same time focus in on, I mean, ultimately making your own day pleasurable. So you can hit a niche, for example, but that niche might not respect the process or appreciate the value of the content or even implement it.
Yeah.
You know, I can think about myself. You know, I like to help people with their businesses, and you know, you could argue that's a niche, but I'm also quite interested in helping people start a business. But a lot of it depends on that person's personality. There's no point in me spending hours, weeks, years, even if they pay me, which in my case they don't, but in your case they will. Yeah. Then, you know, it's not pleasurable, and therefore you can't scale it.
Right.
And that's the thing I think people forget.
My favourite answer to any question is that's the wrong question.
Yes.
Genuinely it is, because it means it forces you to look at the question completely differently.
Right.
That's mainly what when I teach people. They ask me a question, and you realise it's the wrong question they're asking because they don't understand the concept.
Right.
So I find that very encouraging.
Yeah. So folks, the conclusion: there's no such thing as niche. There's only a group of people you like working with, and scale it up from there.